Great, welcome. Good to see everyone. Let's get started here. And going to look at 3 or 4 trades that were taken over the past few weeks. And I'm going to point out one specific item throughout our session today. And if you can master, what we're going to go over today, in my opinion, you don't need to focus on anything else. There are so many trading books and concepts and tools and strategies and everything else out there. At the end of the day, the question, whether you're trading stocks, futures, Forex, options, what have you, the only question that matters is where are prices going to turn and where are prices going to go? And I would say those two questions are equal. One's not more important than the other, right? Great if you can be great at picking market turning points, but if you don't know where prices are going, good luck. So where are prices going to turn and where are prices going to go? If you can master that, being able to identify that on a price chart, again, what more do you need, right? So that's what we're going to focus on. Now, we've got our core strategy. We've got all these odds enhancers. But I really want to simplify things today because I've been on this kind of mission of, how do we even simplify this further? And we're actually able to do that. And I've been doing this with a number of students recently, and it's worked out pretty well. So out of all the odds enhancers and everything around core strategy, it really comes down to 2 things and 2 things only. It's fresh levels and significant profit zones. Okay, so to answer the first question, where are market prices going to turn, right, change direction, that's fresh levels. The second question, where are market prices going to go, that's profit zone. Okay, so if we can focus on those 2 things and only those 2 things, because and really where this all started was I asked myself a while back, I said, you know what, we teach all the odds enhancers and core strategy, and it's all very important. I mean, especially in the learning process when you're starting out at this, you need to learn all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I thought to myself, what do I do? Oh, I just look for fresh levels and profit zones. That's all I do every day, every week, every month, every year. That's it. So I want to see if we can kind of just focus on that and go from there, right? Yeah, and Oleg, I get you there. Location and structure, all that. For example, the curve. We don't need to talk about the curve today, and here's why. If you get the profit zone right, well, you're playing the curve the right way already. Okay. Fresh levels. Again, I'm assuming it's got to be a level itself, first of all, and then it's got to be fresh. Good question. How much you risk when taking a trade? It depends. So there's 2 types of trading I do. Any accounts that I kind of oversee that are not mine, typically around 1%, 1 to 2%. If you're far out at the extremes, I'll go a little bit higher than 1%, but typically just 1%. And then for my own accounts or accounts I'm really tied to, I'll risk a little bit more than that. Okay. Oh, MC is the mastermind community. Sorry, Boyke. All right, so let's take a look at the chart. Let's dive in. It'll take us a few minutes to go through these trades, and then we will go to the live markets. We've got some great trading opportunities today. So take a look at the chart. Here we have, this is a trade that was taken. So here, the circled area is the entry point. Prior to price coming up to that area, we obviously had a fresh supply zone. How do we know that that's a supply zone? First of all, because price dropped away from that level, couldn't stay there. That tells us supply exceeds demand. Okay, not too much trading in that area. We had the pattern, all the odds enhancers that make it qualified as a level are there. The fact that it's fresh prior to our entry point is key. So that suggests we've got a very high probability market turning point, right? A price level where supply exceeds demand, that's where, and significantly, that's the price likely to turn. That's half the equation. The other half is profit zone. Well, so we only know that's a level once prices fell away from the area. So if price fell away from the area all the way down to here, so any buy orders over here obviously are filled, right, by the sell orders that are here. So below this now, where I'm pointing, is there anything in this picture that represents demand? Anything in here that represents the picture of fresh demand? And to me, the answer is clearly no, just by glancing at it, right? No demand in there, no. At 35.40, no. Remember, this is just a rally, a drop, and then prices go up. So that's not, we would never qualify that as demand. So there's no demand in here. So from the point of entry right here, we have a clear profit zone, at least down to 35, 20-ish, okay? Now below that, we'd have to look down into the left and find some demand over here. But we have a clear profit zone that is offering us at least 4-to-1 on the profit side, right? So we have a fresh level and a clear profit zone that starts out at least 4-to-1. Now price goes well beyond that, but I'm just saying if the picture that we're looking at here, that's what the chart is offering. So now you might think, well, what about curve and all that? Well, I don't need to worry about curve here. The chart's offering, at least 4-to-1 on the downside. The chart never offers that when you're near larger time frame demand. It's not physically possible, right? Okay. So what I care about is the chart is offering something, and I'm going to take profits at less than something. Make sense? Fresh levels, profit zones. Let's move on. I don't want to spend too much time on these. I want to get to the live markets. Here's another one. This was should be very obvious. Now maybe not the demand zone, but the profit zone. Okay. Yeah, Boyke, we'll get to the Nasdaq retest today, and the euro. Were you able to get either of those? But we'll take a look. All right, so here we have a little demand zone in here, right? Prices are basing in this area, and then all of a sudden, price drops. And it's this red candle that takes prices down away from this area, which tells us supply exceeds demand here. There's a significant supply and demand imbalance. That's why prices fell down to here. So prior to the circled area here, that was a fresh level. But what was most attractive about this trading opportunity was this green, or these green candles here. Again, is there anything in this area that I'm pointing to that represents fresh demand or any demand? Is there anything in here that represents even a bad, ugly demand zone? Nothing. Okay. So fresh supply zone up here, clear profit zone below. Make sense? Yeah, Oleg, good point there. Not on this time frame. But again, if you look, we're down to a 15-minute chart, so we're already down to a pretty small time frame. There's probably not going to be anything down there if we go smaller. Yeah, maybe if you get to a 1 minute, you'll find something, but that's not going to be a big deal. So MRC, when we say profit zone, so when price is in the circled area, we're selling short. We're only selling short for two reasons. Number one, because we believe it's at a level where supply exceeds demand, where banks are selling. The picture in the chart tells us that. The second reason we would sell here is because we believe there's room for price to drop. And the only thing that would cause prices to stop falling are buy orders, right? Unfilled buy orders, demand. So we look at the price action over here. We look at the price action over here, and there's nothing that represents demand. Nothing. So fresh level, profit zone. Let's move on. Here's a little bit later in May. Boyke, what time frames are best to trade Forex? First of all, obviously it depends on what you're trying to, what your goal is. Are you trying to create or recreate that, daily, weekly paycheck, or are you trying to, build this wealth bucket, create this kind of monthly or annual paycheck? You're going to look for opportunities in the smaller time frames or the larger time frames. I think we've spoken many times online here, but I think you're a short-term Forex trader. Is that correct? So if that's the case, I'd be careful going too short-term in spot Forex. Oh, swing. Okay, good. So you're good there then. So then spot Forex is fine. So your smallest time frame is probably going to be like that 30-minute chart. And we'll go to the live charts in a few minutes and map some of those out. Are you only trading spot Forex, Boyke? All right. Okay, good. Okay, so let's take a look again real quick. Let me just get out of this. Skype. I always forget to turn Skype off. You know, Ruben, you kind of do, but it's okay. You know, it's the legal version of doing it, right? We'll look at the first market we'll look at is the euro. There's a nice demand zone down there. And the dollar's coming up to our 80-60 supply. So, okay, let's take a look at this one. So this is just kind of showing our supply demand grid and our market screener. A lot of you have never seen the market screener. Not a big deal there. But anyway, here we had a clear supply zone, right? A little bit of basing, strong drop in price. The pattern that represents fresh supply is there. Here's the entry point, but prior to the entry point, price had not been back to this level, so it's fresh. We call it a fresh level, meaning the amount of supply in that area is as high as it's ever going to be. With each rally into that level, some of the sell orders are getting filled, so the level is getting weaker. So we want to get on the first pullback. We want to find fresh levels. Number one. Number two, we need a clear profit zone to the downside. So first of all, if you look at how prices left this level and really focus on this, see, I think you'll really get it. The fact that price fell so quickly and so easily from this level, does everybody understand how there just can't be any significant demand on the way down here? See how price had such an easy time going down to this 1860? Well, if there's no big buy orders to stop that, okay, that means there's not going to be any big sell orders to stop a rally. And again, if there's no big sell orders to stop a rally, there's not going to be any big buy orders again to stop a decline. Anytime you see, and you can look at any chart you want, when you look at charts, you're going to see the areas where price had an easy time moving through, and then you start looking left or right, it always has an easy time moving through that area because there's no big pockets of orders. So how prices left the level gives you a big clue as to how prices are going to return to the level, which obviously gives you the best clue as to how prices are then going to leave the level. Does that make sense? It's all about the orders. Okay? All about the orders. All right, so again, all these trades, by the way, that you're seeing with the trading kind of statements attached to them, these are all real trades taken. These are not hypothetical returns or demo accounts. Okay. I know in the world of spot Forex, you always have to read the fine print, and usually it says, you know, hypothetical returns or something like that. So these are all real trades. Okay. Let's go to the next day. Okay. Here's another supply level. So here we have fresh supply prior to, right? So the entry should have been right here. Was in front of the computer then. So we're in front of the computer over here. Anyway, there's the fresh level, but look at how prices rally up to this area. Where I'm pointing to right now, that's the picture that's going to give us the information we need regarding the profit zone. Okay, you see how there's just this big, fast rally in price with this big red candle or two? Okay, that tells us, you know, in this picture, there's no significant demand. There's no picture of fresh demand in there, which means when we reach fresh supply, there's really nothing to stop prices from falling down to at least here, right? Offering you a very high probability 2 to 1. Okay. All right. No questions on that? I don't see any questions. So, yeah, RFK. Yeah, but you should have a pretty good idea of how that's going to happen before it happens. That was the point of the last one. All right, let's go over to the live markets. So focus. I see your question here. Let me go back to this one here, right? So I see what you wrote there, but no, that was the whole point here. So what you're saying is, well, we're only going to know how price is going to come back to the level shortly before it gets there by looking at this area that I'm pointing to, right? Well, my point with this example is how prices leave the level is going to give you a very accurate clue as to how price is going to return to the level. So focus on this will tell me, right? Make sense? I think you got it. If you don't tell me, I'm happy to explain it further. But yeah, and you'll see you'll be pretty accurate. Look at today, okay? That we've got this kind of pocket of nothing here from looks like yesterday. Price is having an easy time moving through this area because there's just no big pocket of orders here. But there's a nice pocket of buy orders down here, and a really nice pocket of sell orders up here. So let me blow this chart up a little bit. Okay, great. Let's so now we're looking at the live markets. For whatever reason, my font's got a little weird here. Okay, so we're looking at I said we start with the euro. We're on the Nasdaq. Why don't we do the Nasdaq real quick, and then we'll go to the euro. Let's see, where is the euro at? I don't think it's down near that level yet. No, we're okay. All right, so here's the Nasdaq in real time. There's a couple areas above that we're looking at. Oh, here we go. Well, for whatever reason, hang on a second. There we go. Sorry about that. So we've got like, 2 or 3 levels above. The only thing I don't like about these levels is everybody's looking at them. I can't tell you how many text messages and Skype messages, and I'm sure there's some emails I haven't even looked yet on these levels today. So be careful. You're going to get a lot of retail selling there, which often will create the other side of your trade, if you understand what that means. So, okay. But we do have a bunch of sell orders stacked up against each other here. All right, we're only looking at a 5-minute chart. Okay, so we've got some fresh levels above, but now where's the demand below? Well, we know there can't be any significant demand above today's low of 3707.50, right? If there were any significant buyers, I'm talking about a big stack of unfilled buy orders, it would not be physically possible for price to get down to this level. Make sense? So let me kind of clean this up a little bit. Got some old lines down here. But if you look just below today's low, 3710 is already hit. So, this area right here, you're probably going to, there's probably some demand in here. I'm not saying that's a great level that we should buy at for a long-term, for a huge move to the upside. But, there's probably some demand here, right? This is the origin of this move. So we've got some fresh levels above and a nice profit zone now down to at least the 3707.50. So I'd probably say about 3709. Make sense? So let me just put a blue line in here. Yep, that didn't do it. So, full disclosure though, I did initiate an options position this morning that's bearish. So I just want to let everybody know that. Not to just tell you I'm doing it, just I don't want because always want if I'm suggesting anything bearish and I'm already in a bearish position, I just want to make sure you know that. Does that make sense? Actually, no, not that long term at all. Expecting the Qs to maybe come down to around the 89.50 area. All right. Never want to get accused of front running or anything like that. And I saw people do that in the late 90s. Not good. Happens every day. But so here is, if you're looking up in this area, kind of three little zones stacked on top of each other. Then again, just above 37.30, right around 37.31 is another level that kind of starts up there. So we'll see what happens here. This is just more of a short-term idea right here. Okay. Again, when we go to the, let me just go to the Qs to just complete the NASDAQ picture, and then we'll pop over to the euro. Sorry about that. Here we go. Yeah, so all on the Qs here, where is it? So we're back up. If you look at the weekly chart here, we're back up into this larger time frame supply. We also have those smaller time frame supply zones up there. But if you look around, here I can clean this up for you. Clean up even a little bit more. You see around 89.50. You see all this right here. Okay. Here, if you want the, there we go. Okay. This whole stuff around 89.50, you're probably going to get about, once you go just dip below that, you're probably going to bounce to the upside. But with price up near larger time frame supply, this gap here, what kind of gap do we call this? If anybody's with us here in the XLT, what kind of gap is that? What do we call that gap? Yeah, it's a novice gap. Okay. So if you know the definition for a novice gap, that's a pretty high probability bet. So just betting that prices are going to come down closer to the 98.50, 89.50 area. It's not looking for a huge move out of that. Could you go through that? Yeah, you could go down to the, looking at this chart, you're actually more likely to go down to the 88.50. That looks like an even better level. This doesn't really look fresh anymore. So we'll see. All right. But again, what are the two things that make that a decent opportunity? Fresh level, profit zone. Let's go to the euro. Oh yeah, let's pop over to that dollar supply. Thanks, Focus. I almost forgot about that. So this is not a new level. You and I, we've been talking about this level for a while. So watch this area up here. Once you get above 80.60, really comes in around 80.65. Okay. All right. Euro. What do we have in euro? Oh yeah. So first, let me show you this level that is not going to hit. I doubt it's going to hit today. Oh yeah, with the dollar, I see your question there. So you're coming up to this level for the second time, and we do have some demand below. Are we bullish or bearish on the dollar? The answer I can give, you've got supply up here, but you also have some fresh demand below right now. So I think for the next few days or weeks, we're going to stay between 80 and 80 and this 81.50. That's the most likely scenario right now. But the nice thing is, and Boyke, this is kind of to you and anyone that is holding positions for kind of a multi-day move or however long it takes, just something bigger than a little short-term trade. When the dollar has such clear levels so close like it does now, that's just that always equates to just fantastic trading and trading opportunities euro, yen, anything big against the dollar. You know what I mean? So. If we go to the 5 minute, just take me a minute to point this out. If I go back, so we're at 30, we're at 36. I shouldn't even show you this level. It's nowhere near current price at the moment. There it is. Oh, I guess it's not that far down. So watch this level. I think someone else in here, I saw them type this level in earlier. Uh, 135.75 down to about 135.70. So I would definitely, obviously, you have to add on to that for a stop, and I would go below actually this bottom line. I'm sorry, should be down here by default. So you're really talking 68 to 75, but your stop would need to be below that. We're talking spot Forex on a 5 minute chart. I'd give that a healthy stop. It's still a pretty tight level. Okay, so that's a nice level on the downside for an upside move. But if I really scrunch this up, look at how prices took off from that level. Right. Now, as I scroll forward, you'll see we have not been back to that level. So we call that fresh. It's a fresh level. Look at how prices have been falling back towards that level. Okay. Is there any significant supply in the area? If you look at, let's look at the 60-minute here. If you look at the 60-minute, you'll see we just kind of rallied up to all this stuff up here and fell. But there's really no significant supply until you get up to about 36, above 36.40. Or 36.40 and above, I'd say is where the significant supply comes in. Remember, we're only talking about significant buy and sell orders, where banks are buying in a big way, where banks are selling in a big way. MRC, I wouldn't put times around that, but people talk about hunting for stop orders. But again, the whole point here is, you have to be successful at this, you have to think, act, and trade like a bank, not a retail trader. So, and I come from the institution side of the business, which is, that's where my experience comes from, and that's why you kind of hear me talk the way I do. So make no mistake about it, stops are meant to be hit. If you're a bank or an institution, what is your favorite order? What is your favorite order in the market if you're a bank or an institution? By far. Stops, of course. Someone putting sell orders at the bottom of the market and buy orders at the top of the market. Right. Absolutely. That's like a gift. Okay. Anyway, I'm not saying don't use stops. Absolutely, risk management is key, but just make sure you put them in the appropriate area. If you put your stops in the same places that retail traders put their stops, good luck. You're going to get the same results that retail traders get, right? Which is typically, quite a bit of losses, quite a few losses. If you like the profits and accuracy and consistency that a bank gets in their returns, trade like a bank. I think round numbers kind of do play a little bit of a role, Blakey, but that would be not a primary thing to consider. It would be a secondary. So, for example, if you have a supply zone right at a round number, and it's kind of an odds enhancer, I guess. But I wouldn't worry about it or focus on it. The round number is not going to, again, it all comes down to fresh levels and profit zones. So nothing else is really going to nothing else is going to change what the action you would take anyway. All right. I remember too, I wouldn't focus on stops too much. There's so many different participants buying and selling in the currency markets every day. Believe me, retail traders make up the smallest part of this currency pie, right? Currency trading pie. Okay. Those markets are dominated by governments, banks, institutions, major Fortune 500 companies. All right, let's keep going here. We can look at another market. I know there were got some nice Skype messages from people that took some nice trades in the Aussie dollar today. I didn't look, but let's take a look. I guess there were a couple nice shorts off nice supply levels. All right. Boy, no, not from my experience. No. Yeah, so here's the little level from this morning, right here. Let's just take a quick look. Okay. Yeah, so I guess the Aussie, yeah, that level hit. So there was a little rally this morning into pretty obvious supply. What's the next trade here? Let's take a look. I don't see one actually, so we'll move on. Is there any other market someone wants to look at? It was a great trade this morning, but it's done. Let's see. Yeah, rally-based drop and drop-based rally are key because those force you out farther out on the curve. Okay. Inside those rally-based rally, drop-based drop are fine. Okay. But again, yeah, I would stick to those, big, these areas. So, for example, and Selma, I see your question up there. Yeah, I'll pull up the. Let me see what markets. Oil, yeah, that was the next market to ask for. So yeah, let's go to crude oil and we'll point some stuff out there. Okay. So if you look here, for example, on the 240-minute chart, we got a nice rally-based drop. Okay. So that's what we want to focus on. Okay. Rally-based drop here in crude oil. If you focus on this chart, start here. I'm only bringing this up because this is the first market that was brought up here, I believe. Yeah. RFK was quick on the trigger there. So we have a nice rally-based drop. That is attractive. Fresh level up here, right? Fresh supply zone. Let me just kind of map this whole thing out. Okay, so we've got this rally-based drop supply, and let me just finish this, and then I think you'll get it. Rally-based drop up here, supply. Right, RFK, but you had a nice strong drop, so we'll consider that a fresh area. I'm not done yet. So fresh zone, fresh level up here. The nearest area of demand is down here. Okay, right here. So that tells us we have a trading opportunity. All right, we've got opportunity. Now, I'm not just going to enter positions off this chart. So now that I know that we've got some fresh levels and nice profit zone on the larger time frame, now let's go down to the smaller time frame, let's look inside this big red candle. Key word there, right? Inside the red candle, inside the rally-based drop, and let's see what we have. So maybe we'll go to a 10-minute chart. I don't know why I'm looking at QM. Let me pull up CL here. I meant to click on CL, sorry. So these are crude futures. You have the same picture though. Okay. Let me just put those lines in here. There is nice, clear rally-based drop. We've got some demand below. Again, this is just quickly in the big picture. What's the where are the turning points and where's price likely to go? Big picture is going to very quickly, clearly tell us that. All right. So now what I want to do is, okay, I say, look, we've got room on the downside here. Okay. So let's look inside this red candle from current price up to, a little above 104. Inside this red candle, let's do that on a smaller time frame. So let's go here. So down on a 10-minute chart, do I have any supply here? Well, we've got this area right here. We've got a couple areas. Okay. If I put my lines in here, I'm down to a pretty small time frame already. I'm going to have to take that. And probably the more attractive area is going to be all this stuff up here. Okay, that right there, because I'm really getting to the origin of the drop. Okay, if I get all this, we kind of have two areas on top of it. So this is really rally-based drop. This is where it is. We're just kind of refining it here. So I've got a couple levels that we can sell short at in crude. See if we get that line straight. All right, so the upper one is the origin of the drop. And again, this right in here is where that last buy order was filled, and there was a significant amount of supply left over. Boom, prices fall. Now, same thing happened here. Okay. So now remember the goal was to look between 104 and maybe about 104 and a quarter. So that's where we're looking. Okay, so I'm coming down to a small time frame where I'm finding that because the larger time frame is showing that. Make sense? Okay. And because the area is so big, you can almost scale into this position. Because I'm saying, you know what, there's room to fall to 103. Maybe get into a third of your position here. 2/3 of the position up here with a stop for the whole thing above all of it. You know what I mean? Or, just figure out the math and what you're comfortable with on the risk side. That's all. Maybe get into a quarter of the position here, 3/4 of the position up here with a stop for the whole thing above it. If it's a really good area, what's going to happen is it's going to fall from here. You're going to have a small position, but it's okay. All right. Just do the math and, make sure you're okay with the risk. That's the most important part. Okay. Focus, yeah, but again, you want to kind of peer. If you're going to scale into a position, again, if you're going to do that, I'm not saying you should, but if you're going to do that, it's probably a good idea to put the majority of your position on deeper into the area or level. Another way to say that, put it, closer to your stop. Okay. Let's look at another market. Someone wanted GBP. Let's take a look. Hopefully this session's helpful too. Again, the real focus here is fresh levels and profit zone. I didn't really point that out specifically in that last crude oil trading opportunity, but That's what makes it attractive. Fresh levels, profit zones. Write a note, stick it on your computer. Try that for a little bit. Make that the only thing you focus on, and I think your trading life will get a lot easier and hopefully more profitable. So the pound falling, obviously the dollar rallying, but remember, careful when you get up to here, above 80.60. Okay. We've been there before, so we got to 80.60. So anything above that's going to take you kind of right into this. We already have a clue that there's likely to be some key supply here because prices couldn't even get there before that and fell pretty hard, right? So that's telling us there's probably quite a bit of supply here. However, you do have some demand down below, so just note that. Having said that, when we look at the pound, I just want to take a look at I want to find some larger time frame demand first. Now I can already see where it's going to be. Really nothing significant until. So this is a good example. So yes, this drop base rally down here, this is your key level. But before that, price is going to hit this. So this is the nearest technically fresh demand zone below current price. So it's larger time frame. So the larger time frame is telling us that price can get down to that's quite a ways below current price. We were there not long ago. There's really nothing in here or in here to stop price from falling. So let's leave that alone for a few minutes and go to the smaller time frames and see if there's a supply zone we can look at. Now, obviously, if the pound gets down to that level and the dollar's up into supply, that's typically a pretty high probability bet. Okay. If we're looking for a larger time frame supply zone to get into, okay, the clear ones are, obviously there's a decent one right there, but certainly watch this area here too. Okay. When you see a level that looks like that, kind of comes down, goes up, comes down, immediately go to a smaller time frame. So that's like a no-brainer. So see, when I do that, we look inside there. It's not that great anymore. You had a level here, worked out great. You had a level here, worked out great, but they're not fresh anymore. See that? So your eye will be trained over time to see that in a larger time frame. Okay, you have 2 or 3 great levels in here. They all worked out perfect as they should, but they're not fresh anymore. So therefore, we'll stick with this one. You may look at this on this time and say, "Oh, there's a level." No. When you see it come down and go up and then come down, that means on a smaller time frame, those orders are gone, used up. So we watch this level up here around the, call it 167, between 65 and 70-ish, 72. Okay. So there's my email address, sseiden@tradingacademy.com. Again, sseiden@tradingacademy.com. If you have any questions, just shoot me an email. Happy to help. Hopefully, again, today was helpful. Remember, the key things to focus on, and try this till the next time we meet. Let me know how it goes for you. Fresh levels and profit zones. Really look for those. And if you're struggling finding those, we'll chat about it. All right. Thanks again for your time, and thanks to FXStreet for putting these on. And we'll see you soon.